Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay Moore.
This is Greg Cruz.
This is Bryce Vine.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan
This
East.
is Sebastian Younger.
This is Daryl Ames.
This is Stuart Copeland.
This is Mick Gillette.
This is Andy Summers.
This is Dr. Bob Greenberg.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Rob Bell.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
How you doing? This is Dale Midkiff. I'm here with PETA. We're talking, and it's for the Break It Down show.
And now, the Break It Down show with John Leon Guerrero and Pete A. Turner.
Yeah, this is great. We're sitting here. We're in Valley Village. I always want to say Valley View, but Valley Village.
Right.
Hanging out.
It's not much of a village, actually.
Yeah, we're on Burbank Street.
Right.
And, we're at a shawarma place, and it's fantastic. It's called Cafe Florentino. So if you guys are if you're anywhere near 12514 Burbank Boulevard, North Hollywood, NoHo, you should come in and check it out because the shawarma is kicking. Yeah, so you've been in a zillion things that we've all seen.
I know. I've forgotten more than I can remember, to be honest with you. It's 35 years, I think.
We all know Pet Sematary, but what do folks besides that, what do they recognize you for the most?
That one's a big one, Pet Sematary, obviously, because it's somehow became a cult classic. You know? And I think the 30th anniversary is coming up this next year. Yeah.
Crazy.
And I hear that they're doing a new Pet Sematary. And people at the convention, I was just at a convention in Sacramento, and people were asking me, what do you think about it? And that's fantastic. Because they're going to watch that, and then they're just going to go, oh, I didn't watch the first one. So they're going to go back to the original. Because you can't replace Fred Gwynne, That's all I'm thinking, So I think it's very exciting, actually. Sometimes Elvis and Me, like that. But and a lot of Hallmark. The moms like the Hallmarks. Yeah. The Hallmark Channel, I did a lot of those. And there are actually, like you said, there are so many. And it'll just, out of the woodwork, somebody will just come up and mention something to me and I haven't thought of in 25 years. And I go, oh, that's right, I did that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Does do any of the lines stick in your head? Where you're like, yeah, this one just is in there and I can't get rid of it.
Well, only probably Pet Sematary, because when I do conventions, usually that's what I'm doing it for. So, fuck off hairball comes to mind.
Totally, yeah. Those Stephen King stories where they take, it's real Grecian, like it's I can't think of who the guy is who wrote the stories like this, but like trading some good for evil to get back something that you have lost.
Right.
And that Pet Sematary it's the classic tale of that.
Do anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny. I'm thinking about that now, and the scene where after my son gets run over by the big truck, and we did the scene with me in the street, screaming. And we did that, and they called lunch. I said, great, okay. And we're taking the van back down to the trailers, and somebody looks out and goes, fire. I went, what? I said, that trailer's on fire. And I said, that's my trailer. I left a candle lit and the curtains billowed, and I guess and so the curtains went up. I mean, luckily they got that out pretty quick, but I just went, well, after what I just did, and now there's fire. I see, there's like too many omens here, too many signs,
That's crazy. So I have a true confession, which we do sometimes on this show. So Scott Husing will appreciate that. He's an author who does a lot of shows with me. When I was a kid at church, someone had put the candle a little bit too close to the curtain in Sunday school.
Sure.
And so they lit the candle, and no one's paying any attention, but over the course of half an hour, that curtain got hot enough that it lit on fire.
Wow.
And it was just no big deal. Like, they patted it out, and it was no big deal. But every Sunday, for years afterwards, I would get there early because my family got there way early, and I would nudge that candle back.
Right. Don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, I want to see that. That was so cool. It's kind of like being a teenage boy. You see that girl that unclasps her bathing suit at the beach and lays.
Right.
And you're like, please.
Right.
Please forget. They never do, though.
Should I look? I don't know. I'm looking. I am looking. I shouldn't look, but I am.
Yeah. So when you're doing Pet Sematary, did it ever occur to you that movie could pay you for like the rest of your life? I mean,
not at all.
It's crazy, right?
I was a young man, so I was just happy to have a job. you know, and also even happier to get to work with somebody like Fred Gwynne and get to know him.
Yeah.
I mean, I went over to his house. He had a little cabin on the lake, and we all had cabins somewhere. But
Yeah.
and his wife Deborah, I would go over and visit them, and you know, we'd have our cocktails and have dinner, and I just loved being around Fred. You know, and it ended up because I would talk about, you know, Fred's a New Yorker, or was a New Yorker, and so I would talk about Maryland all the time. I said, Fred, get a place in Maryland, just do it. Come on. After we did the movie, he did that. He bought a farm in Maryland.
Wow.
And I would go visit him and Deborah, and we would call ourselves Maryland Country Gentlemen. And somehow he convinced the Army Corps of Engineers to build a small lake on his property. I still know how he did that.
Wow.
But but it was just beautiful. He was a lovely, lovely man. You know, one of those few people I had to reach up to hug, you know, because he was like 6'5", something, 6'6".
Right.
But just, he was like the innocence of a child, and just beautiful. That was the best memory I have of working on Pet Sematary. I don't think it would have been as much of a memory for me if it hadn't been for Fred Gwynne, you know.
Who else have you kept along the way through all of your things?
You know what? I probably just about anybody, but everybody goes their separate way after a job. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I have fond memories from just about everything I've ever done, you know, really. Yeah. I don't recall ever having a real bad experience. Mm-hmm. Well, there was one, but I won't talk about it.
Yeah, but let's focus on the good things. We like to collect joy around here.
Of course. So, I mean, I was lucky, I think. You know, I just always great people to work with, great directors. I had a fantastic time every time. Yeah. It was just a joy, you know. And I think I'm like, was it Christopher Walken, who was on that show, and they said, what's your favorite word? And he said, lunch. And I'm pretty sure that would be my favorite, too.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, so you've done literally dozens of things. All anyone has to do is look at your name and a list comes up.
It's a long list,
Yeah. So there's a lot of projects, a lot of experiences. For someone who doesn't know from the outside, I mean, you've led movies, you've played parts on procedurals, you know, you've done the whole spectrum of things. How often do you have to work to kind of, one, keep your flame lit and people know who you are, but two, like pay the bills? Like, can you work twice a year and pay the bills?
Not anymore. I've got my pension now, but it's back in the day. Actually, I could do that. Yeah, you know, because back in the day they really paid well. Mm-hmm. You know, for movies of the week and all that. It's not the same anymore, from what I understand. You really have to be like the AA list actor to get that kind of dough. So I could work 2 or 3 times a year and be very comfortable back then. I would have worked every day if I could have, but then I would have missed out on my children growing up, so I didn't want that really either, you know.
But there is that trap that you fall into out here where you get known for something. You know, you're the whatever. You're the honest crier. You know, like we need an honest crier. Let's call Dale. And I'm not saying that was your thing, but then you have to say yes whenever they call. Right. Otherwise, they call another guy who's like, oh, you know who?
Yeah, let's call the dishonest crier.
Yeah. We want someone that no one believes, so we can put them in that kind of role. But how do you reckon with that then? Like the comfort.
Well, it was funny because you know when things started happening with Pet Sematary and Elvis and Me and all that, and they did so well. So any movie of the week I was in, the producers would come in, well, we want this to be just like, you know, that, you know. And I went, guys, have you read the script? It's nothing like that. This is a whole different character, a whole different, you know, scenario. And so, you know, expectations would be a bit high as far as that. And I thought I loved just every character was different. That's fun, you know. Would I have loved to have a show go 7 or 8 years and just, you know, not worry about a thing? Yes. But it never happened. All my shows ended after 2 years. Right before, you know, you would get to that point where they're going to get paid for the rest of their lives. My shows would end after 2 years. Yeah. You know, with Time Trax, Magnificent Seven. Yeah. That was a fun show, too. You know, being a cowboy for a couple of years. Riding horses, shooting guns, kissing girls. You gotta be kidding me. Yeah. It's like every boy's dream.
Right. Time Trax has its place, too, because there was that, when I think about Time Trax, I remember watching it, but I also remember like they had all of those, it was like network TV's like, we want to have our own kind of version of more edgier, adulter kind of things. There was like Silk Stockings and Rob Estes did that.
Right, sure.
You know, it was sort of like in that package of shows where we're trying to find these newer angles and skew that direction. That's how I think of it. I could be totally wrong, but you know, the show was on a long time ago. But when you take a project like that and they want you to lead it and everything, do you get a sense like I've got to make the right choices here? Because you know you get to lead until all of a sudden you're not leading things anymore.
Right.
Is there like a worry that time Trax is like you know it's a great idea, but what the hell, I'll go for it. Like how does that decision come down when you're trying to work?
The only worry for me is the fact that it was being filmed in Australia, in Surfers Paradise. You know, they had a studio down there, and I thought, you know, that's really out of the loop. You know. But the story was so great, the character was so great, and Harv Bennett, you know, executive producer, did Star Trek and everything. He was fantastic, and I love history. Yeah. So the show had so much history in it, and the fact that every week a different guest artist would come down from America. Yeah. I mean, they had the great job. They come in and basically do a little work and have a vacation in Australia, and it's all paid for. You know.
Do you still have the leather jacket, or is that
no? Oh. I don't really keep anything from anything. I just don't.
No memento from like nothing like that, huh?
No.
Just about the movie. Do you watch your old stuff?
No.
Never ever?
No.
Can you bear to, or you just don't bother?
I just don't. It's not important to me. It's like retracing your steps. Why retrace your steps? I've been there. I've done that. I don't need to experience it again. But anyway, Australia was fantastic. The people were amazing. It was a very difficult shoot for me because my partner, my sidekick, was a hologram. So, I'm working 12 hours a day and talking to pieces of tape all day. I got really good at talking to myself, let me tell you that. But it was just very physical, nonstop. And like I said, I had no co-star to really share it with, share the burden because she did all her work in the studio. Yeah. But it was worth it. It was. Thank God I was a young man. That's all I can say. Because
there's a lot of work on it.
Oh my God! Yeah. Every week, different bad guys. Yeah. They have to be fought. They have to be taken down.
That's true. Yeah.
And it was.
I didn't think about that because
I'm riding horses, motorcycles, whatever they could put me on. I had to get my.
And
PADI
you wanted
license.
to do most of your own work.
I did a lot of it, unless it was running into a burning building. I tried to do most of it. Yeah. Yeah. I had a great stunt team, though. Sure. Stunt guys were fantastic, and it's like I said. I thinking of it doing something like that at this age. No. I want to be the guy sitting on the porch, in a rocker.
Yeah. You want to be the guy on the other side of the fence in Home Improvement. You're like, I'm just going to talk. You can see that. I'm not going to shave. When Scott Bakula is doing a similar show, he was not fighting somebody all like you guys have bad guys.
Oh, yes.
And that's a big difference, yeah.
And also, you got to suck it up. You're around all these tough Australian guys, and it's like, you don't want to, you got to give it everything you got. Yeah. Give it 110%. And let me tell you, at the end because we shoot 8 months at a time, 22 episodes for 8 months.
Right.
And at the end of the 8 months, the first time I just went, this is insane. Yeah. I was just exhausted.
Wow.
And I remember we came back here for the holidays in between the two seasons. And flying back to Australia, I got really sick. Huh. Couldn't call in sick. Yeah. There's nobody to take my place. And I had a fever like 103, and we were shooting in the desert the first day back. And I swear, I don't know how I got through it, and neither did my wife, but I would just literally sit in the chair, just sit, until they said, Dale, we're ready. I'd go up, I would hit it one time, and I would get it. Yeah. Because that's all the energy I had. And I go back and sit in the chair, and finally I come home, I've still got a major fever. And she goes, how did you get through that? I said, honestly, I don't know. I felt like Christ going through the desert. It was that intense. Something kept me going. And mostly I think it was just, I don't want to let these people down. Sure. All these people around me are working so hard. Right. The crew, everybody's working hard. They're sweating too. They're in the desert too. It's not just you, Dale. Yeah. So I had to do it for them, more than anything.
That's, it's a great point. What you own, if you're a good person, like what you own by seeing 50 people, however many people it is, like there's a dude over there making sure you've got food to eat. Right. I've been in combat zones. It's the same thing. Like I've got to be absolutely ready when I leave the wire because there are so many people that have done a lot and are going to do a lot to make sure that I'm able to be out talking to these locals,
Right.
you know? And so, yeah, you stay up 20 hours. Sometimes
Right.
you stay up 36 hours
Wow.
in a day, you know? And you're like, now today can begin 12 hours late, you
Right.
know? Like, it's just how it goes. And you don't know how you do it, you know?
Well, you know, I mean, if you take on that responsibility of being number one on the call sheet, you've taken on all the responsibility.
Yeah.
Not just the fact that you get lunch first or whatever that is, you know, so you can get back into the set. It's just, you take it all on. You have to.
Yeah.
You know? And I love that. I love that responsibility when I did it. Yeah, I kind of miss that. That's
Yeah.
what I miss. I miss being number one on the call sheet, if I miss anything, just because
But do you want to be number one on the call sheet anymore? Or is that...
I just, you know what? I would just love to work on something interesting and fascinating and enjoyable and full of joy, you know? That's what I want. I mean, that's all. If I do get back into it, which I think I am, that's all. No expectations, just please keep me interested, you know?
So when you read something, how long does it take for you to go, oh, this is interesting? Is it like the first page, or is it... I mean, you've read
When I-
1,000 things.
Yeah, but you know, when I see it and read it, and it just automatically, it just comes out of my mouth
Yeah,
just the way it should be.
yeah.
That's how I know.
Huh.
You know, I remember, I can't remember the name of the movie of the week, but it was Trailer Park Carl was this character, you know, tattoos, and just didn't look anything like me, really. But I said, I know this guy. I grew up with this guy. You know, I'm from the Eastern Shore of Maryland, and it's just country. It's pickup trucks, gun racks, Budweiser, and dogs, you know.
Yeah.
So I went into, it was a meeting. You know, I said, well, I won't read, but I'll come in. And I knew they were going to look at me and go, he's not right. He's not this guy.
Yeah.
So they're all sitting up there, and they said, well, you want to tell Dale about the character in the story? And I said, guys, do you mind if I tell you about this character? And I went in and I talked for 30 minutes about this guy, Carl. And that's how I got the job.
Yeah.
I didn't even read, but I had him down in my head so well, you know, and I just knew him. So that got me the job. So when you just know, you know, all you have to do is let them know that you know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So is that what's interesting then? Like when you...
When it just jumps out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When it
Does
just
it have to be the character, or can it be the story?
It's a combination of both. But for me, it starts with the character.
Okay.
Because I can't control the story or the other characters or what they do, but I can control my character.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or at least let him lose control.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that for me, it just, and sometimes I don't even read the other characters
Okay.
because I want to be surprised. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
When you get these stories and they jump off the page for you and you can hear the story or the character, you just become that person. How frequent is that?
Oh, it doesn't happen very often.
Okay.
But when it does, you know it because
Right.
it is so infrequent. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The same thing happened with Elvis. I don't know how I figured I could do that one.
Yeah. Did you have an Elvis connection before?
No, I really wasn't a fan. And I remember the whole town was trying to get this role.
Mm-hmm.
And I was dead broke. I mean, I was driving a primer gray 71 Toyota. The floorboards were almost gone.
Yeah.
You know, you could see the road when you were driving.
That's crazy.
You know,
Yeah.
scraping change off the floor just to, you know, put some gas in the car.
Yeah.
Living in a tiny bungalow down by Culver Studios.
Yeah.
And I got an audition for Elvis. And I had done Dallas the early years, like before that.
Yeah.
Playing Jock Ewing as a young man. But that had been a while, you know, and they didn't really pay me much. So,
Yeah.
and so I finally got in. They brought me in to see the director, Larry Pierce, and just in the office there. And I come in, and he goes, my boy, you're such a good actor. I've seen you in Dallas. Yeah, I said, great. I said, and then they did a screen test, because back then that's what they did.
Yeah.
This was a big deal. This was Priscilla Presley's miniseries.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And so, and I remember working with my friend Scott on the full, and he goes, Dale, you're absolutely perfect right where you are right now. When Elvis started, he was poor. He was hungry. He was young. You're all of that right now, you know, and I used all of that. And I went in for the screen test, and they were down to the wire. This was like 2.5 weeks before they were going to start shooting. Still hadn't found him. I come in, Jerry, who was one of the Memphis Mafia, he was also the technical advisor on the show. And
Yeah.
he said, Dale, I knew it was you before they said action. I said, really? Because they had me standing at a bar before the scene, that's where it took place. And before they said action, I just started doing a beat on the bar. And Jerry said the hair went up on the back of his neck because Elvis did that before every take of every movie he ever did.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So he said, I knew it was you before you even started acting. Yeah.
What do you attribute that to?
I guess maybe because I'm a Southern boy.
Okay.
I'm from below the Mason-Dixon, Eastern Shore, Maryland. I just grew up with all that. And I got to tell you, after portraying him during it, I just huge respect for the man, And I got to spend, after I got the part, they flew me to Graceland, to Memphis. I got to spend Halloween weekend there before I went up to Quebec to start the filming. And that was crazy. I got to drive the car up and down the driveway like he did. And once all the tourists had left, I got the run of the place, and I got to sit in his chair at the head of the table. I got to go everywhere. I played the last piano. On Halloween night, I played the last piano we ever played in the dark. I stood by his gravesite Halloween night, and I remember thinking to myself, why? Why you? Why? And then I stopped saying that. I said, you're here. And on Sunday, before I was getting ready to leave, Aunt Delta Presley took me upstairs to the bedroom. And back in those days, nobody went up to the bedroom. All they had done was dust since his passing. And she took me up there, and she goes, stay as long as you want, just have a, she went downstairs. I don't think I moved for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Wow. I don't think I even moved. And I was up there for a good couple hours, just looking, not touching anything. You talk about mementos or anything. Yeah. I went, there's a pencil that he probably used. You don't touch it. You're not taking it. That's the worst karma of all time.
Right, yeah.
And I finally, after I mean, it was like being in a trance. You can imagine, you're there in the man's his sanctuary, basically. And I come back down to the kitchen, and I'm kind of emotional at this point. And Aunt Delta Presley, she looked up to me and she goes, I think you're going to make a wonderful Elvis. You're always smiling. You're such a nice boy.
Yeah.
That's it. That was like the seal of approval. And then I got on the plane like an hour later, and I listened to gospel a lot because, I mean, I don't know if you realize it, but he won most of his gold records for his gospel music. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just listening to gospel the whole time. And I didn't realize that as the flight ended, these ladies up in front of me said, are you a gospel singer? I said, no. She goes, well, you were singing. I didn't even realize I was singing out loud, right. But that's how I had to do it. I mean, 24 hours a day, I never stopped immersing myself in him. I had a voice coach and everything, And I just, I couldn't let it go. Even the boys around me, the Memphis Mafia, they would call me E and Elvis, what do you need? You know what I mean? They did that, when we're shooting or not.
What year did you do that?
I think it was 88, I'm going to say.
Yeah. So he really hadn't even been gone that long. I mean, really.
10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
And so for them, the memory was still fresh.
God,
I'm sure they missed him, but, 10 years ago, 2008, I could tell you all kinds of things that happened. Day by day recollections,
I know, but it was quite an experience, and they actually shot in sequence. From when the first stuff is in Germany, when he meets Priscilla. Yeah. Nobody does that anymore. But they did it for me so I could grow with the part.
Okay. Did you ask for that?
No.
That was their idea.
That was the director's idea, the producers. And, I mean, obviously it probably cost a lot more to do it that way.
Right.
But, it sure helped me because, I grew with him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And because it's Priscilla's story, does that change who Elvis is? Because of, it's that internal view, that perspective, and then there's like the love, all of that, but then also like, they don't make it through as a couple.
Right.
So there's all that. I wouldn't want to call it betrayal, but there's an evolution in their relationship.
Right.
Does that change the Elvis that you play?
It had to.
Yeah.
I had to adhere to her story, and I thought it just had a lot more colors and dimensions than the usual portrayal of Elvis, because, and I know you don't call a legend, you don't want to point out any shortcomings.
Sure.
But everybody has a little bit, You know, it just makes for a more rounded human being, I think. You know, I mean, that's just my opinion, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's wonderful to look at a gorgeous sunset and perfect thing every day.
Yeah.
But man, I love a thunderstorm. You know, I love
Yeah.
inclement weather.
Yeah.
You know, I like the rough edges as much as I like that which is just absolutely pristine and perfect. I love the rough edges too.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I think I enjoyed. There was a period where I called it my blue period. I was playing these real life stories about guys who were really bad people.
Yeah.
You know, I played the Tracy Thurman story where the guy, you know, stomped on his wife's neck, and I mean, true story. In fact, I remember doing that. We did that in a valley, and it was about 108 degrees that day.
Yeah.
They had to pack me in ice because we went through that scene so many times, and I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
And there was another one right after that called Sins of the Mother, another true story. Elizabeth Montgomery played my mother.
Wow.
Which was like,
my
I'm
gosh.
bewitched is going to play my mother.
Yeah.
That was intense. But and the guy raped upwards of 70 women, you know, and that was a real hard one.
Yeah.
You know, that was just really, because I never felt so slimy and creepy and evil in my life. That was a hard one. And that's why I call it my blue period.
How do you get that off of you?
Go home to the children, kiss the wife.
Yeah.
Say, you know, thank God I'm home. You know, that's it. Yeah, you have to. I have to. Like I said, I don't keep any mementos or anything.
Yeah.
Once I'm done something, that's it.
Okay.
I don't really look back. I just, you know, I shake it. You know.
We had a guy named Dominic Santana on the show, and physically and his presence, he's Suge Knight. So he plays Suge Knight in a lot of things. I think he's going to play him for a fourth time.
Wow.
And he's like, yeah, it's all right. But when I get into that space, when I'm sharing who he is, you know, maybe therapy's in order at some point. Maybe there's some damage going on that I'm not accounting for.
Right.
You know, just because Suge is such a, well, you know, I don't want to call him an evil person, but he's a person that makes very hard choices.
He seems scary to me.
Yeah.
You know, that's all.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
that would be tough too.
He's in jail right now because he drove over somebody, you know, and then.
Well, that's usually where they put people who drive over somebody, I think.
Yeah, but to play those characters, and you've played people that have made that life and death choice.
Yeah.
It's intense. Would you say that you're a method kind of guy then, or?
Back in the day, I think I was.
Yeah.
I pretty much. I mean, I remember one of the first things I ever did was called Street Walk, and I played a white pimp in an all-black world, and I killed 5 people in one night.
Yeah.
You know, and we shot everything at night. I remember, too, it took me 6 auditions to get the role, and I finally got the role on my birthday.
Yeah.
You know, because once again, looking at me, they didn't see pimp.
Yeah.
But I went out, got the clothes, thrift store, of course, because, you know, very poor back then. And I came in and I wanted it so bad. And I remember we shot everything at night, and it was a lower budget, but I would literally run down the street screaming, life or death. This is life or death. I mean, I used up so much energy. We had a final confrontation scene with another pimp in a big fight in a bar. My preparation at the time, I went into the bathroom and I did about $800 worth of damage. Come to find out later, tore a sink off a wall. This is just me preparing. And I realized as I grew, you know what, Dale, let's save that energy for the actual scene. Right. When they say action,
That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't have to go as far. The more I grew, I just trusted that it was there. But back in those days, I mean, I just wanted to be, you know, have everything just revved up, red line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just red line it all the time. Like I said before, thank God I was a young man.
Yeah. Is that Dale hard to deal with on the staff? I mean, like, obviously you're a genuinely nice guy, but if you're if you're at the rev limiter and you're banging off that thing for a scene.
I know where I know where the edge of the stage is.
Okay.
And the only thing people just knew when I was getting ready. They just kind of
give you some space.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never took it out on any crew, any of that. No.
No, you can sense
it's like
that,
I took it on myself. You know.
It's interesting to see you listen to you evolve as an actor and realize where the energy needs to be, because you don't know as a young actor. I mean, some people have a natural setting where they can get it, but even they improve in a lot of ways. The energies you put into certain things as you get older, as you get better, you don't put energy into those things because
it's a waste of time, because the only thing that matters is what happens between action and cut. Really, the only things that people are going to see, and that's where you have to, if redline it, I guess you would call it. That's where you have to. That's where you can't lie. I always used to say that a lot too. I mean, like before I would do a scene or a take or a close up, I said, just don't lie, Dale.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
I watched A Star Is Born yesterday. Have you seen that?
My son saw it and loved it, and I'm going to go see it here soon, I think. Yeah. I heard Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga were just fabulous.
Everybody was really good, and it's a very emotional movie.
And it's kind of a country feel to it.
Yeah,
which is right up my alley too. So
it's actually you could have played his brother very well.
Well, it's never too late. He may need an older brother at some point in his career.
Sam Elliott plays the older brother.
Oh, he's too good. Oh, he's perfect. Though.
Yeah, no,
Sam Elliott. There's no replacing Sam Elliott.
He just smolders like angry and pissed off, and so like he just
nobody does it better.
Yeah,
and when he starts speaking, I go, oh my God, I'm in love with him. What the heck?
Yeah.
It's like
No, he plays it well. But you have the look. You get Sam has all his silver hair and everything, and so it's a role you could do. I want to come back to that because before I want to ask you this about that movie. Like they spend a lot of the movie with the camera like right here. It's
really?
So tight.
Really?
Yeah, because it's so emotive. She's playing, he's playing.
Right.
There's shots where they're pulled away, but even then, you're part of the band in the shot.
Right.
So at really the furthest, maybe there's a long shot of the house.
Right.
But everything else is like just intimate, really up close. Have you done a lot of scenes like that where the camera's just right on you?
Oh, yes. But what I really enjoyed, I found later, was like, if they were on a Zoom. Like the camera and the crew were back further, but you still got that same really tight shot.
Right.
It just gives you more freedom, I think. Because when the camera and the crew are right there, it just takes so much energy to focus. You know what I mean? To block it all out. You get there and you get it done, but it's a lot easier when they're a little further back. Yeah. To play make believe. To just let it go, to be yourself more. I think. Is that the same? Does the same rule apply where like you don't need to tear the bathroom apart when they have that close shot or when they're zoomed in on you and you know that they're tight on your face and her face or whatever? Are you released from some like I don't have to act with my whole body, or do you still have to like do all of the? No, I try not to. Okay. Because I am a body guy. I kind of move a lot. It's like what is it? Butch Cassidy said that's because I'm better when I move. So yeah. But if I don't move, I get to where I want to be more because I'm not expending that energy on the movement. I have forced to sit with myself and sit with it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And sometimes, I'm holding on to the chair, with both hands. You can't see because I just don't want to move. I want to stay right here. So now the camera's on you. It's tight and you're acting. What is as a host, right? I'm thinking of, where's the audience right now? They're doing dishes. Do I got to remind them of something? I'm cognizant of their presence when this show, and so that's how I host. Oh, okay. I'm cognizant of you and what I've got to do for you to make sure that I'm pulling out. So I've always different lines of thought going on in my head. Sure. I want to understand what that is for you when the camera's tight and you've got to act primarily with your face. You've got to be true and with your emotions. And give your partner something to work off of. Yes, of course. What are those things? That's so important. Yeah. I think you hit it on the head, your partner, whoever you're acting with. It's so important just to be there with them. Right. You know what I mean? And like I said, I've been very lucky. Most of the time, the person sitting across from me, they're very good and they give. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I think that really helps. You're just... You're alone, but you're not alone. You know what I mean? And you can't think about doing it for somebody else, right? Or showing them this or showing them that. You can't. You just want to be there. You just want to like I said, you just want to be honest for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, that's really all it is. And that sounds easy, but it's really not.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You know,
We've talked about, and it applies to life in a lot of ways. We had Chad Michael Collins. He took over for Tom Berenger in the Sniper series.
Oh, really? Okay.
Real good looking guy, and he's such a wonderful dude. But we talked about it the first time we had him on the show about, the standard things like show up on time, hit your marks, tell the truth.
Sure.
But each of those things, they sound easy, but telling the truth, and like if your truth is not, Sam Elliott has his truth.
Sure.
You don't necessarily want to see him be a funny guy.
Right.
You know?
But he is.
Yeah,
I've seen
sure,
it before, yeah.
But like when he shows up, Joaquin Phoenix, when he shows up, these guys have a truth that they can just turn on, you know.
Yes. I think that's amazing, you know.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, there's a reason people are truly like, movie stars. It's because they have that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing to watch.
Yeah, there's people that have certain things. I'm amazed by like William H. Macy or those guys that you're like, you wouldn't pick them as being, they don't look like a classic actor who's as good as anybody in this town.
To be honest with you, I always wanted to be a character actor.
Did you really?
Yes, because they got the great roles. They always get the really meaty, good roles.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about your looks or anything. It's about that role and just sinking your teeth into it. I was always jealous, of all the character actors, because it's like, I just feel like a character actor. I don't feel like a leading man. I feel like a character
What do
actor.
you call the person like Clint Howard when he shows up in a movie, when he plays with Ron? Because Clint is such a unusual looking guy. Like
I'm not sure who he is.
He looks like Ron Howard, but he's just a slightly I'll show you a picture of him.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he just he's almost like an emotional actor where like he brings a certain thing to his scene because his parts are never very big. It's he's there to do one job.
Right.
And he brings in one little element, maybe he's a nerdy, astrophysicist or something like that.
Sure.
But there are people that have even lesser than a character actor, like they just provide that color in the scene. They may say something,
Right.
but they're even less than that. Is that still a character actor then, or?
I think so.
Okay.
If they found that niche, yeah, definitely.
When you look at movies, do you go, "Oh, I wish I could have played that"?
Oh, of course.
Like yeah.
I'm sure when I go see A Star Is Born, I'm going to go,
Yeah.
Did he direct that, Bradley Cooper?
Bradley Cooper has taken that next step where not only does he get to pick and choose whatever he wants,
right?
Like he does it only because he wants to now.
Right.
And he does whatever he wants in the movie.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he really. Star Is Born. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga does a great job.
I heard she's phenomenal.
Yeah, and of course she sings like crazy.
Right.
But what roles have been out there, or what stories would you want to tell? Are you into writing at all? Are you trying to?
I write poetry, but I don't think I can turn that into a screenplay. I love words. I love to write, but it's just not something I don't think I have the courage to share it. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
And it's just too personal sometimes.
What's the difference between your poetry and the lines on a script? What makes that
Nothing.
different?
If it's truly well written script, it should read like poetry.
Yeah.
I think anyway.
But why can you go and perform something as intimate as Elvis and Priscilla's Love, but then you can't perform the poetry part? What holds you back?
It's mine.
Okay.
It's just mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I know in this world today, it's like go, do everything, make everything, be everything. And I'm not that kind of person, really. There's just parts of me I like to keep slow, and I like to keep it with myself. You know, and I don't feel the need to make a buck off everything. You know, I just don't.
Yeah.
And I'm sure.
When you write a poem, what happens to it? Where does it go? Do you read it and go, oh, that's pretty good, and just move on?
Sometimes I read it and go, that's it. That's perfect. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Just the right words, said the right way. And it's as simple as possible. It's simple. Fewer words, the better.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I just go, that's enough.
Do you do haikus at all, or
no?
Too formulaic for you?
Yeah.
Or? Okay. Yeah,
I do bumper stickers, but
bumper stickers is good. Kiss my grits. 3 words. Perfect. Yeah, no, poetry, that's cool. How long have you been doing that?
No, my entire life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you just sit down for writing sessions then? And
No, it's like when it hits me. It's no, I don't have that regimen. If you mean like, get up and I'm going to write from 8 to 12. No,
right. No,
and it's like I said, and it's just when it hits me, and it's all of a sudden it goes. You know what? I just need to write this down.
Yeah,
just to see.
I wouldn't call myself a poet, but you can't not call someone a poet if they write poetry,
I think everybody's a poet in their own way.
Right,
you know what I
sure.
mean?
Yes.
I mean, honestly.
And for me,
because I'll hear somebody talking and go, "That's a great line," and they just said it like, And I just, in fact, that happened last night. I was watching the World Series. I was talking to this guy. What did you just say? He said, you said it again. I went, I got to write that down. That's just brilliant. You know?
Isn't it incredible that you can still find a combination of the same words?
Yes.
In a way.
Isn't that amazing?
It's incredible.
I know. That's why I guess I've always loved words. I really have, because there probably are billions of combinations that we haven't even come close to getting yet.
Yeah, there's always a new combination. There's a new way to inflect it. And I was thinking about, and I don't want to get into all the political stuff, but the word nationalist is being thrown around all the time. And Donald Trump's trying to change the meaning of it, or maybe he's not. Who knows? But just the word, like the ists, all of them. Florist, good. Sexist, bad. Nudist, probably good, Nationalist, bad. Socialist, good or bad, who knows, right? But a national socialist, bad. It's just weird that words can mean so many different things depending on the time, the inflection, the context of the situation.
Of course. And like as with text, you don't get the inflections. It's like, no, I didn't mean that.
Right.
This is a good thing. It's like you get the inflection right.
Yeah.
Then you have to explain yourself more with the text.
How about when you read one of your texts or some kind of informal, like real short message, and they're like, I thought you meant this. And you're like, oh my God, you could think that.
Right.
No, well, that's not at all.
That's why I keep my texts really short.
Yeah. Yes. No.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was talking to text as I was driving down there because obviously I don't want to text and drive, but I needed to get a message out to one of my clients, and I was basically said, that situation, don't worry about it, I got it. All I have to do is talk to the person, will handle it. It's for some podcast stuff, and the word ballistics got in there. And he's like, I don't know about ballistics. I don't know what you're talking about. We're just trying to deal with it. I'm like, oh, never mind that. Talk to text. Further confusing messages.
I know, it's funny. It's like I was coming to meet you. I get a text and it says, try to look like an actor. And I texted back, what does an actor look like? She goes, just put a shirt on. So, honestly, well, because, I don't, like, for this kind of thing, I don't prepare or anything. I go by the, just wing. I love winging it. I think it's it's much more fun than anything. So
absolutely.
They're afraid I'm going to show up and I don't know what But
no, I get it because and this is not to put anybody down, but like the people that plan these kind of things for us. Although I plan my own shows, but the people that are worried about the schedule and all those things and the message. We're not winging it. We've prepared for hours and hours and hours and years for these moments to be able to be free and be comfortable in that. I know who you are. I looked at your body of work, but I reach a level of comfort where like I've done what I need to do for you as a host.
Gotcha.
And the preparation is fine, but the people who don't have that, like oftentimes guests. I've got a show called Popping the Bubble. Everybody should listen to the Popping the Bubble show, and we talk to tech people, and they don't have the interpersonal skills that you and I have because they're focused on technology and running a company. Yeah. And so they'll come with their talking points. And all I want to do is get them off that paper. Right. So I can get them to be them. Right. Because them is way better than a talking point.
Well, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It drives me crazy. Do you ever watch Graham Norton?
No, I don't know what it is.
BBC. It's like the Carson show. Mm-hmm. So anybody who's doing a press junk for a movie and they go to London, that's the show.
Oh, okay.
And so
yes, I've seen. He's hysterical. It's
he's
very funny
hysterical.
stuff. I've seen pieces of it. Yeah.
Yeah, he had Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga on the show. Like he'll have Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga, and I think Ryan Gosling was on the same couch.
Oh my God.
It's massive,
and he makes them all laugh.
Oh yeah, he's so good.
Right.
Hillary Clinton went on his show.
Wow.
And it was totally fabricated and false. Like they had her come out by herself. She didn't share the couch. Thank you. She didn't share the couch with anybody else, and then she left. And I'm like, oh, don't do that. Let Graham Norton do what he does for you. You know, like you don't have to say anything provocative. You don't have to say anything crazy. But let him do his job.
This episode of the Break It Down Show is brought to you by Lions Rock Productions.
That's us.
We publish, evaluate, and develop podcasts just like this one, consult others to build their own, and create associated content and content marketing strategies.
So if you're launching or expanding your social media presence, your business, or your personal brand, or if you just want to take your media presence to the next level,
reach out to us on Twitter
at Pete A. Turner
or at JohnLG69
at the Break It Down Show.
There's 1,000 ways to get a hold of us.
Now enjoy the show.
We're talking about acting and how to approach a scene and whatnot. Mm-hmm. There was a director I told you before, Larry Pierce, one of my favorite directors, great director. He directed me in Elvis and Me and another thing too. But he said to me early on, he said, you know, Dale, you're at your best when you back into a scene. Really? I didn't really understand him at first, and then I got it. Because when I back into something, kind of fall into it, I'm not thinking anymore. In other words, I just get lost in it. Huh. And that's something I kept I've always kept that in my mind. It's like, you know, just you've done all the work, you've done everything you can possibly do. Yeah. Now let it go. Just let it go.
Does that apply to life?
It's a good question. Yes, I think so. I really do. I do. Like I said, you know, people seem to be so driven these days, which is wonderful, but I'm a man who I like to let life wash over me sometimes, you know, just see what it brings, see what happens. And yes, that takes time, and you have to be still, and you have to, you know, and I'm not the kind of person who's always on their phone. I don't have to look busy. I can just sit and stare. I'm fine with that. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah. That's wonderful. So you can sit and stare and let life sort of wash over you. Mm-hmm. What do you see when you do that? What comes out of it?
I feel peaceful.
Okay.
I feel at peace, you know, that I'm just enjoying the moments right here, right now. Yeah. I'm not searching, I'm not yearning, I'm not throwing myself against the wall. Yeah. You know, yeah. I'm just, you know, I'm loving everything that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, it may sound a little innocent, I suppose, but you know what? I'll take all the innocence I can get.
Yeah. Especially now, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, I don't want to take all your time. When you have another project to work on, come back and let's talk about it.
Oh, I'd love to. This has been great. This is, you know what? I'm going to definitely check out your show now. That's because I didn't before because I wanted to be surprised. Yeah. But I'm going to watch the Break It Down. I'm going to listen to the Break It Down show.
Yeah. You're going to find some really good stuff. There's so many good shows. They're really good.
Well, good for you. And, you know, keep up the good work, man.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.